We often see others as one or two-dimensional. We tend to identify people with shorthand. The Italian guy, the red-haired woman, the Chinese kid. We're well-meaning generally, but we reduce that person to a single characteristic. You do it, and it's done to you. Yet none of us is a single feature. The reality is far more diverse and far more interesting. Each one of us has a unique cultural DNA profile. Every person is composed of hundreds, thousands of components which define yourself. Physical characteristics include age, gender, height, weight, skin tone, hair texture, eye shape and color, musculature, bone structure, disabilities, even the size of your feet. Mental components, whether psychological or neurological, may include memory, curiosity, cognitive capabilities, maybe an aptitude for math or music or art or language, emotional expressiveness, and even your ability to read a map or follow directions. Experiential components may include childhood experiences such as family size, structure, and wealth, where in the world you grew up, your educational background, service in the military, marital status, parenthood, the type of work you've done, and your experiences in a wide range of cultural and organizational affiliations. These types of affiliations can include your ethnicity, ancestry, religious connections, political parties, community organizations, even the sports team that you favor. All of these aspects of yourself affect how you perceive the world and how it perceives you. Most importantly, this complex brew impacts on how we each behave and think, as reflected in our different values and beliefs, attitudes, customs, traditions, and what we think is normal. This plays out at work, from whom you befriend, to the type and color of clothes you wear, to how and to whom you demonstrate respect, what role you assign to luck or hard work, to your expectations of a new coworker or your boss, or how you engage in and resolve conflict with a coworker or customer. Every aspect of how you communicate and behave at work is shaped by your own cultural DNA profile. And we each tend to assume that everyone else is just like us. They think the same, see things the same, find the same things funny or offensive, communicate the same. But have you played with the Rubik's Cube puzzle? One cube made of 6 flat colors, 9 squares each, equaling 54 little squares. Mix them up and then return them to the original configuration. The most popular puzzle in the world because it is so simple and yet so difficult. And why so difficult? Because those 54 little squares can form over 43 quadrillion patterns. That is 1,000 million million. Think about that. Every person is made up of far more than 56 components, many thousands really, and the possible combinations to make up each individual are almost infinite, certainly more than a mere 43 quadrillion. This means that while there may be some overlap, each one of us acts according to a somewhat or dramatically different set of beliefs or expectations or values, and we may understand any given situation quite differently than the person standing only 2 feet away. For example, you might strongly believe that showing emotion at work is unprofessional and childish, whereas a colleague might just as firmly believe that showing passion about an issue shows sincerity and dedication. So when you two have a disagreement, you think that your colleague is being loud and obnoxious, but your colleague thinks that you are cold, heartless, and don't care about the issue. Of all the pieces which make up who we are, less than 10% of that is actually immediately visible. Like an iceberg, the far larger 90% of ourself floats well beneath the surface as we move through interactions during the day. Some components or attributes are easily visible: our age, our gender, our weight, the words we may use. Some attributes are on the waterline, sometimes visible, sometimes not: sexual orientation, race, disabilities, religion. And then the submerged attributes, such as our job history and skills, our family background, education, other life experiences, and perhaps most importantly, the internal and implicit values and beliefs and expectations we have about every aspect of life and existence. These include orientation toward time, how we perceive power, our approach to risk, our reaction to conflict, and how we communicate. It is typically the most deeply submerged values and beliefs which clash at work, and yet we often just assume that the other person is being unreasonable or outrageous or downright rude. If a new client calls you by your first name, is he being friendly or disrespectful? If your coworkers are chatting about their families, are they wasting time or establishing a good team relationship? If your boss tells you that you need to improve your writing skills, is she trying to get rid of you or help you succeed? If your office mate complains to management about a small bonus, do you think he's being embarrassingly arrogant, or do you applaud his drive? Do you throw your hands up and say, how can I possibly make sense of these puzzles? Here are 6 simple examples of some submerged attributes which will help you piece together and better understand the picture of your own cultural diversity DNA and that of the people you work with. Enjoy, or as my daughter might say, buon appetito.